Welcome learners, welcome to my session. In this video, we are going to look into the topic reverse logistics. So before going into the topic, we should know why we should talk about reverse logistics and some of the points of environmental consciousness. We should know about it, why we have to do the reverse logistics. Logistical activities are responsible for much of the environmental cost associated with modern retail. It is hardly surprising, therefore, that logistics features prominently in the environmental statements of large retailers. Most of these retailers has developed or in the process of formulating environmental strategies. Some have been portraying themselves as green for many years, often on the basis of a few minor cosmetic changes to their business practices. There is now much greater commitment to making retailing genuinely sustainable both in environmental and social terms. This stems partly from a requirement to demonstrate corporate social responsibility to investors and other stakeholder groups. It also reflects increased corporate awareness of the gravity of the environmental problems confronting the planet, particularly from global warming. As consumers are becoming more environmentally conscious, retailers' green credentials are becoming a more important competitive differentiator. Environmental initiatives can generate higher revenues and secure greater customer loyalty. They can also yield cost savings by environmental acting agent energy consumption and packing waste. By happy coincidence, greening retail operations is a business practice both economically and environmentally. In this chapter, we examine the adverse effects of retail logistics operations on the environment and review a series of companies should take to minimize them. The main focus will be on the lower links in the supply chain controlled by larger retailers with a logistics capacity. What are the environmental effects on retail logistics? Number one is the greenhouse gas. Emitted gases exert a global warming effect with varying degrees of intensity. Carbon dioxide produced by the burning of fossil fuels also release, which can have a global warming potential thousands of times greater than CO2. Some large retailers have measured their carbon footprints and disaggregated their CO2 emissions by activity. Marks and Spencer, for example, has estimated that its logistics operations account for roughly 11% of its total CO2 emissions. Noxious gases, these pollutants such as nitrogen oxide, sulfur dioxide, and particulate matter PM10 impair local air quality and responsible for the range of negative effects on human health, vegetation, and also buildings. Tightening controls on exhaust emissions over the past 20 years, mainly in developed countries, have drastically reduced the release of these pollutants. Noise is the next criteria. This estimates mainly from vehicles and distribution centers. As a result of improvements in vehicle technology, the imposition of tougher regulations on vehicle noise, new trucks today are much quieter than those of 10 to 15 years ago. In retail logistics, noise abatement not only involves investing in newer vehicles with quieter engines. The sound of refrigeration equipment, the rating of roll card gauges inside vehicles, and even in cab radios can cause annoyance. The range of activities performed in and around a retail distribution center can also disturb local residents, particularly as these premises typically operate on 24 hours, 24/7 cycle days. And then accidents. The involvement of freight vehicles in traffic accidents is generally considered to be an externality. The cost of personal injury, death, or any damage to property and related use of emergency services are borne by the community at large and thus deemed to be environmental cost. Accidents occurring within distribution premises, on the other hand, are treated as an internal cost of business. Waste generations. So this is the major point in the reverse logistics people must talk about. The waste generations, which is through electronic goods and gadgets, electrical goods, and other durable items are not at all taken back by the company through the reverse logistics. The waste retail logistics operations generate large quantities of waste, mainly in the form of packaging material, though products that are damaged or life expired, while the supply chain and have to also be considered a type of logistics related waste. In the past, much of this waste went into landfill sites, occupying rural land and creating serious environmental problems such as release of methane, a very potent greenhouse gas, or incineration plants that release air pollutants. Today, retailers must adhere to strict controls on the recycling and reuse of packaging they are producing in their factories, especially the logistics chain. Then visual interruption. Many people dislike the appearance of trucks and warehouses and believe that they reduce the quality of local environment. Large trucks are often considered out of place and even intimidating in sensitive urban and rural environments, while large warehouse sheds are often criticized for dominating the landscape. It is very difficult, however, to quantify and they cost these subjective judgments, and so for this reason they tend to be excluded from formal environmental assessments. So in this chapter we will also focus on the ways of reducing the environmental effects of transporting goods through the retail supply chain. Through in a later section we also comment on the return of waste packaging and several other environmental issues relevant to the retail logistics. So the framework for analyzing the environmental impact on retail deliveries. See, the options for reducing the environmental impact of retail deliveries can be reviewed systematically with the framework which is given in the picture down. This framework, which was originally developed for the Green Logistics Research Project, has been adapted for retail logistics operations. It essentially maps the relationship between the quantity of goods purchased by the retailers and the environmental cost moving them through the supply chain to the final point of sale. This relationship is defined by 7 key parameters. Number 1 is modal split, is the division of freight traffic between transport modes. The environmental impact of these modes varies enormously. For example, the average grams of CO2 emitted per ton kilometer for a deep sea container ship, freight train, heavy truck, and long hull air freight are respectively. See the logistics and supply retail chain management analytical framework. You can see that. So the weight of the goods based on that the modal split will be there. You can see the entire process in this. So they wrote that the tons in the kilometers, and you can also see how much of the tons which is filled in and how the supply chain is moving towards this. This is the environmental impact of retail overseas. And logistics and retail management, weights of goods distributed by retailers, weight of all retail suppliers transported by road and road tons, lifted in the retail supply chain, the road tons, kilometers in retail supply chain. So model split, similar analysis for another model, and average handling factor, average length of hull structure of the retail logistics system, efficiency of vehicle routing and vehicle carrying capacity by volume, weight vehicle utilization on laden trips, level of backloading, distribution of vehicle kilometers by vehicle size, vehicle weight and type, and also average load on laden trips, and then average percentage of empty running, total truck kilometers, fuel consumptions, CO2 and other noxious gases, scheduling of retail deliveries, nature of surrounding area traffic conditions, and other environmental effects per truck per kilometer. And the energy efficiency also should be studied. Pollutant content of energy, source of noise, accidents, visual interaction, etc. Environmental impact of these retail deliveries, statistical aggregates, key parameter determinants. That is what the analytical framework was given. That this was adapted from this paper. And switching freight from air or road to cleaner modes, mainly rail or waterborne transport, can significantly reduce a retailer's environmental footprint. Following this model split stage in the framework, subsequent parameters need to be calibrated for a particular mode. As the road is invariably the main transport mode used for retail deliveries, which you can relate to the mode. And the average this is a crude measure of the average number of links in the supply chain. It can rise a single link from the distribution center to the shop or to several links in the case of retailers whose control extends back to the supplier's premises. Which channel products through primary consolidation centers upstream of the distribution center or operate an additional tier of regional local depots downstream to the distribution center. So, and then average length of the hull. This is the mean distance that goods are transported on each link in the retail supply chain. It partly reflects the retailer's sourcing strategy, but also the geographical structure of its logistics system and the efficiency of vehicle routing. So, the conventional view is that by sourcing more products locally, retailers can cut their transport requirements and benefits the environment. So, as discussed later, however, life cycle analysis reveals that minimizing the distance that goods are transported does not necessarily minimize the environmental cost. Average payload on laden trips and the average percentage run empty are two critical energy consumptions. By rescheduling deliveries of off-peak periods, retailers can reduce their exposure to traffic congestion and allow the vehicles to run at more fuel efficient speeds. The pollutant contents of the energy source. Transport fuels differ in the amount of particular pollutant that they emit. In case of electrically powered freight operations, there are also wide variations in the environmental impacts of different types of electricity generation. Converting from conventional diesel fuel to alternative fuels or to battery powered vehicles recharged with electricity generated by renewable means, and such as wind power or water power, can significantly cut emissions of CO2 and noxious gases, pollutants. Other environmental effects per truck per kilometer are the other adverse effects that are not directly associated with energy consumption, such as noise, irritations and accidents vary with traffic conditions, and also the environmental sensitivity of the surrounding area and the nature of the vehicle. Sometimes in the forest area, the animals will be scared of the trucks and they will not pass, and the accidents, the trucks killing the animals, very rare species, is also a dangerous one for the environment. Upgrading vehicles to the latest environmental and safety standards and altering the scheduling and routing of deliveries can help to reduce the level of externalities per kilometer travel. We will now discuss most of these key parameters in more detail and outline measures that retailers can take to modify them in a way that benefit. So the environmental effects of rescheduling deliveries are discussed later as a topical issue. Large retailers have been a fertile source of logistical innovations. They have pioneered many logistical management practices and technologies that have subsequently been adapted in other sectors. The more progressive retailers also appear to be taking the lead in developing and implementing green logistic strategies. So this chapter also outlined the numerous environmental improvement measures that they can incorporate in these strategies. If properly coordinated, this set of measures can substantially reduce the environmental cost of retail distribution. At present, many of these costs are borne by the community at large and do not appear on the retailer's balance sheet. So they themselves, they themselves don't know how they are contributing towards it. Especially when they are paying the taxation, often the roads are spoiled by the sand lorries or the trucks of very heavy vehicles. The bridges are damaged or the cement lorries are damaging the roads. It is likely, however, that they will increasingly be internalized in higher taxes, and every time when they are putting their roads, they will be taxing you. Though the inclusion of logistical activities in emissions trading schemes. So those retailers that by then have minimized the environmental footprint of their logistics operations will derive a significant financial benefit. They will also have benefited financially in the meantime, as many of the green measures discussed in this chapter cut cost as well as emissions. Perhaps the most important driver of improved environmental practice in retail logistics, however, will be growing expectation of customers that the products they buy are delivered in a sustainable manner. So, the reverse logistics concept. Reverse logistics refers to the process of moving products from their final destination back to the point of origin. So, in the context of retail supply chain and logistics management, reverse logistics refers to the management of products that are returned by customers either because they are defective or it is damaged or simply no longer they want that particular material. Reverse logistics is an important component of the retail supply chain, and as it allows retailers to recover value from returned goods and reduce the waste. Effective reverse logistics processes can improve customer satisfaction and reduce the cost associated with handling the returns. What are the key elements of reverse logistics in retail supply chain and logistics management? Number one is the return management. This involves the collection, inspection and disposition of returned products. Retailers need to have efficient processes in place for receiving returned products, determining the reason for the return and deciding whether to repair it, refurbish, resell or dispose of the product. And transportation is the next key element. Once returned products have been received and processed, they need to be transported back to the point of origin. Retailers need to have transportation systems in place that can handle returned products, including the use of specialized carriers and delivery networks. Inventory management. Effective reverse logistics require accurate inventory management, because retailers need to track the return products throughout the return process, including the location, the condition and the value of each item. And data analytics. Data analytics can be used to identify trends and patterns in the customer's returns, which will allow their retailers to identify the root cause for the returns and take proactive measures to reduce them in future. Advantages. So it reduces the waste. Reverse logistics helps in reducing the waste by recovering the products and materials that would have otherwise ended up in landfills. If they are not using it, the defective products, they will throw it in the landfills. So instead, the companies, if they purchase it with reverse logistics, they will get it back. The waste will be mitigated. Then cost of savings. By recovering products and materials, companies can save money on disposal fees and potentially reduce their overall cost also. And improved the customer satisfaction. Improved customer satisfaction. Reverse logistics can improve customer satisfaction by enabling companies to quickly and efficiently process returns and exchanges. And increased sustainability. Logistics supports sustainability by reducing the environmental impact of products and materials. Then disadvantage, complex process. The reverse logistics can be a complex process and which involves multiple stakeholders and processes which can be difficult to manage and to coordinate. Once the people started knowing that the companies are buying back, simply they will be sending even the good condition, the easily repairable materials also in the reverse logistics. High cost. The cost of reverse logistics can be higher than the traditional logistics due to additional handling, transportation and the processing cost. Then potential legal liabilities. Companies may face legal liabilities related to the proper disposal of hazardous materials and may be subjected to regulations related to the handling and transport of certain products. What are the challenges? Lack of visibility. Reverse logistics can be a challenge due to the lack of visibility into the status and location of products and materials. And it also faces the insufficient processes. Reverse logistics can be insufficient if the processes are not properly designed or executed, leading to delays, increased cost and also customer dissatisfactions. And companies may have limited resources to devote to reverse logistics, particularly if it is not a core part of their business. The opportunities is improved sustainability. Reverse logistics provides opportunities for companies to improve their sustainability efforts by reducing waste and extending the life of the products and materials. Enhance customer satisfaction. Reverse logistics can help companies build a stronger relationship with their customers by providing efficient and effective return policies and exchange processes, and which will also increase profitability. Reverse logistics can create opportunities for the companies to recapture value from products and materials that would have otherwise been lost. This can improve profitability and to create new revenue streams. You can now see that in the online portals, if you want to return the product, you have to pay extra. For non-refundable or non-returnable products, you have to pay a little bit lesser. Even the people are just paying extra because they scared that if the material is something defective, they cannot change it. So, if the material is very good, then also the refundable, the money is not refunded. So, on the whole, in the conclusion, overall opinion, the reverse logistics is a critical component of retail supply chain logistics management, and retailers that have effective reverse logistics processes in place and can recover the value from returned products, and which reduces the waste and improve customer satisfaction. When you speak in this area, India is very much lacking in these type of purchasing packs or reverse logistics potential. You can even see that in our own houses, the durable materials like fridges, old washing machines, old televisions are all kept on the racks, even the mobile phones. the companies are not at all caring for those type of materials which is very defective or which should be taken back. In foreign countries, people whenever they are buying their product, if it is not used, the lifetime is over or the or non-repairable, then they can surrender to the company and the company will come and take the scrap. So that facility must be improved in India also. Throwing of e-waste materials like pen drives, the phones and other computer peripherals are also creating hazardous waste creations in the environment. Sometimes it is creating a very big problem in the environment which creates a lot of pollutions. So the companies, when they are selling their product, especially the durables, the government should take action against them to buy back their products whenever they are not in use. When they start doing these type of activities, I think that reverse logistics will work nicely in Indian scenario also. When you are comparing in the international scenario, Indian scenario, the reverse logistics function is very, very poor, rather we can say. In the international market, if anything is defective or any product is expired or any product is repairable or non-repairable, then immediately they will be sending it to the home country or where they purchased it. But in the recent years, these awareness are happening in India also, and they are also trying to recycle the waste and reduce the waste, and they are also reusing the waste which is available. But anyway, reverse logistics, the companies, what are all the things they are selling out, if they are not in use, it is obsolete, outdated or non-repairable condition, they have to buy back. So this is a strong legal requirement which every country should have to avoid the environmental impacts. So thank you very much for listening to me patiently. All these days my videos might have been useful to you, and this is supposed to be the last video where you have to concentrate more on the environmental consciousness. That's what the first part talks about, how the pollution is created in the environment by the logistics and supply chain management, and how these reverse logistics works out in the current scenario was discussed. Thank you very much, and hereafter any wastages of packing materials, if it is possible, please reuse it and save the environment. If it is not reusable, then you should find out an alternative source, either ask the company to get back those materials or any other mediator or the middlemen, those who are supplying the material to you, they have to take it back. By the way, we can reduce the garbages and we can improve the environmental impacts. Lot of these waste carry bags or the packing materials which was thrown on the garbages are burned by the people, and those burnings, especially the plastic garbage bags of parcels, are even eaten by the animals, the cattle, which is creating environmental impacts, and it creates a lot of diseases to the people where you are burning, including the skin cancer. So the companies, how fast you are supplying the material, the same fastness you should have it while you are getting back the material when it is not in use. And the customer also should be in a position to understand the situation, that if it is not in use, immediately you have to go for 5S, like a Toyota manufacturing system. You expel the muda, the waste. Once in a while, you have to clean your house and take out things and send it to the company at any cost. This will